Kellogg's Pep, the super delicious cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman.
faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman!
While Clark Kent, who as we know is Superman, was taken to Florida by Perry White after his narrow escape from destruction at the hands of Henry Miller, the Nazi Atom Man, Miller was being injected with another solution of radioactive kryptonite, which enables him to generate deadly atomic power within his own body. Miller was preparing to destroy Metropolis when Sidney, the sinister fat spy with whom he has allied himself, discovered through a newspaper item that Superman was still alive. Sidney convinced Miller that their plans for world domination were hopeless while the Man of Steel lived. As we continue now, in the little attic laboratory of a German chemist, Miller is telling Sidney how Superman can be destroyed. Listen.
In spite of Superman's great powers, he's still a mortal, a human being. The doctors and scientists that he permitted to examine him have said so.
I know that. Get to the point, Miller. What are you driving at?
It's like this, Sidney. Human beings have to eat and drink or they die. So all we have to do is to put Superman into a coma and keep him that way until he starves to death.
That's all we have to do, eh? Just put Superman in a coma. Are you out of your mind?
It's easy. Superman can't stand the atomic power of the kryptonite in my blood. I'll expose him to it again.
How can you without...
It's easy, I tell you. I'll let him know that I'm going to destroy Metropolis. He'll show up to try to stop me, and that'll be the end of it.
It'll also be the end of your atomic power, and then we're off.
No, it won't.
Of course it will. Oh, you idiot. Wasn't it exhausted after your last fight with Superman?
Yes, but I exhausted it the last time because I kept trying to finish Superman after he was unconscious. This time I won't do that. As soon as he loses consciousness, I'll stop.
It might take too much power to knock him out.
I don't think so. The last time...
No, we can't take any chances. Superman's clever as well as powerful. He knows what you can do now, and he'll be more careful. He'll make you fight longer.
I can handle.
You're a fool. Can't you get it through your head that this is the last of the kryptonite? You've got to conserve every ounce. Must be some other way. I've got to find it.
Well, Sidney, I think...
Wait a minute. You said that you and Teufel were sure that Superman's Clark Kent, the Daily Planet reporter.
Well, practically sure. Teufel treated my vest with lead to keep the emanations of the kryptonite in my blood from escaping. And when I came near Kent while I was wearing it, nothing happened. But when I approached him without it, he became dazed and he almost collapsed, just as Superman did.
That's not conclusive proof. Kent might have been ill that day. But was there anything else?
Yes. I got Superman to the beach by phoning Kent and telling him that Jim Olsen was in great danger. Superman arrived within half a minute, and the beach is 50 miles from Metropolis.
Oh, that's better. Much better. So Clark Kent's Superman. Now we're getting someplace.
Oh, what's on your mind?
I've got an idea. Yeah. Tell me. Kent has no idea that you suspect his double identity, has he?
No, of course not.
Good, very good. Very good. One other thing. You say Superman becomes affected by the kryptonite in your blood, even when you're not converting it into atomic energy.
Yes. When I met him at the Daily Planet that night, he almost passed out.
Why, excellent. Miller, I believe I know how it can be done. Yes, I'm quite sure I do.
Why?
Exposing Superman to your power, of course, and keeping him under it until he's done for without you having to exhaust the power.
How?
Oh, this is good.
Now, look, Sidney, if you're figuring on my walking up to him or sitting next to him in a restaurant or something, it won't work. He knows it.
I'm quite aware of that.
And a disguise won't work either. His X-ray vision will see right through that.
I know that, too. In fact, I know much more about Superman than you do. I've made a study of him for years, trying to find a way to get rid of him, and now I found the way.
Which way? Tell me.
I'll tell you in the car.
Where are we going?
To make the necessary arrangements for eliminating Superman. Careful on those stairs, my boy, careful. The carpet seems a bit loose. Can't afford to have anything happen to you now, you know. There are millions at stake, millions. And oh, how I love money.
His fat body shaking with greedy laughter, Sidney leads the Atom Man from the attic laboratory. Meanwhile, having arrived at a small hotel on the Florida coast with Perry White, Superman in his guise of Clark Kent immediately retired to his room, where he fell into a deep, dreamless sleep. Late the following morning, when he joined his editor on the sunny breakfast terrace overlooking the sparkling blue ocean, his step was firm, his eyes clear, and the heavy numbness which had clouded his mind since his encounter with the Atom Man was gone. Good morning, Chief. Well, good morning, Cat. Say, you look fine, like your old self. How do you feel?
Oh, in the pink, as Jimmy would say.
I never saw anyone make such a speedy recovery. Why, you're a new man.
Yes, but I'm still worried.
Now, none of that. No worries. No thinking about the office or anything else for 2 weeks.
2 weeks? Are you kidding?
I certainly am not. I arranged for both of us to be gone for 2 full weeks.
Oh, you did?
We're just going to fish, swim, lie in the sun, eat, and sleep. Now, how's that sound to you, huh?
Sounds fine, but did you arrange it with the Atom Man, too?
Huh? With the what?
Henry Miller, the Atom Man.
Henry Miller, Now, look here, Ken. Don't go off on that subject again. That's what made you sick.
It made me sick, all right, but not in the way you think.
What do you mean? There's no such thing as a not a man. Miller's a dirty Nazi, all right, but don't...
No, Chief, please.
Well, now, look, in the first place, you're not well enough to go back.
Physically, I never felt better in my life.
Physically? But how about mentally?
What do you mean?
You're a sick man, Ken. You created some kind of a fantastic illusion in your mind about an Atom Man.
I only wish you were an illusion. Unfortunately, though, he's real. And unless we stop him, most of us will be dead in a month.
All the ridiculous nonsense. Now, look here, Kent. Listen to reason. You told me yourself that Dr. Millison, one of the greatest scientists we have, told you that it was practically impossible to create an Atom Man. And that it... Oh, say, that reminds me.
What?
Millison was trying to get hold of you.
He was? When? Where? Why didn't you tell me?
Well, how could I? First you weren't around, and then you were sick. He was phoning the office practically every hour. Here, where are you going? You haven't had your breakfast.
I've got to call Millicent. Maybe he was able to...
Able to what? Now sit down. Here comes your breakfast. You call Millicent later.
I can't wait. This may make all the difference. So long, Chief.
Kent, will you come back here? Kent, come back, I say.
It's a Chief's vacation. He arranged it for my benefit, but if those calls from Millicent mean what I think they do... Let's see, where can I... that patch of bushes behind the terrace ought to do for a dressing room. There we are. Now, off with these clothes. Good thing I had another Superman outfit. The Atom Man certainly ruined my other one. Next time we meet, maybe it'll be different. Maybe. If only Millicent has been able to... there we are, all set. Now, back to Metropolis. Up and away!
Leaping high into the sunlit clouds, Superman veers and rockets away to the north, red cape streaming in the wind. Will he find what he hopes at Dr. Millicent's laboratory? We'll return in a moment to learn what happens. Once more in possession of his great powers, Superman has arrived at Dr. John Millicent's laboratory on the campus of Metropolis University. Eagerly now, he holds in his hand what is, at first glance, only a modern plastic trousers belt. But woven under the smooth, glossy surface is a network of fine, hardly discernible wire filaments, which cross and crisscross through the entire belt.
You say this belt will detect the presence of kryptonite, Dr. Millicent, and warn me of it?
If there's any kryptonite within 100 yards, the belt will warn you.
How?
There's an alarm, secreted in the buckle.
Oh, yes, I see it.
It'll send out a high, wavering whine. Not very loud, but you'll hear it.
You say it'll detect the presence of kryptonite within a radius of 100 yards.
Well, I say that conservatively. It may detect it at a greater distance, but 100 yards is certain.
Good.
It's constructed along a principle of radar, which was perfected during the war.
Now, look, Doctor, this is terribly important. Will it detect kryptonite in liquid form? In a man's body?
In a man? Oh, you still got Teufel's Atom Man on your mind. I'd forget that if I were you.
Well, I can't. Because, you see, Teufel did create an Atom Man.
Oh, come now, Superman.
I tell you he did, Doctor. I battled with him, and it's only a miracle that I'm still alive.
Good heavens. You really mean...
Yes, I do. But don't mention it to anyone. No sense alarming people until it's absolutely necessary.
No, of course not. But why, I can't believe it.
It's true. Only too true. And unless I stop him, he'll destroy every vestige of civilization as we know it. Now tell me, Doctor, this is important. Will the detector warn me of the presence of the Atom Man? Will it?
Well...
Tensely, Superman waits for Dr. Millicent's answer. The answer which this time will truly mean life or death to him. Because at this very moment, Sidney is on his way to the Daily Planet to set a deadly trap for Clark Kent, whom he suspects is Superman. Fellows and girls, don't miss tomorrow's tense, dramatic episode. There are a dozen thrills and surprises in store for you, so don't fail to tune in. Same time, same station, and follow the adventures of Superman. Discovering that Superman was still alive after his terrific battle with Henry Miller, the Nazi Atom Man, Miller and his sinister ally Sidney concocted a diabolical scheme to once and for all eliminate the Man of Steel. Meanwhile, again in possession of his great powers, Superman hurried to the laboratory of Dr. John Millicent, a famous scientist, in response to an urgent summons. Millicent gave him what appeared to be an ordinary plastic belt, but which was actually an extremely sensitive detector, equipped to warn Superman of the presence of kryptonite, the deadly radioactive element which enables Miller to generate atomic power. Then Superman asked a question, the answer to which may mean the difference of life and death to him. Listen.
Tell me, Dr. Millicent, will this detector belt warn me of the Atom Man?
Well, I think so.
You do?
Yes, the detector's extremely sensitive. Makes use of a new principle of radar which we perfected just before the war ended. Of course, it won't register at nearly as great a distance as when the element is in its solid form.
No, I can understand that. At what distance from the Atom Man will it register, would you say?
Well, for a rough guess, I'd say about 10 yards.
10 yards? That's only 30 feet.
Yes. It might register at a greater distance, but I wouldn't count on it.
30 feet, that's not much. But it might just give me time enough to take him by surprise and tear that box off his throat. That's my only chance to defeat him.
What box?
Well, he wears a small square metal box over his jugular vein. It has a tiny electronic tube in it and a switch. That box controls his power. I found out that much.
Sounds like an electronic converter, designed to flash an impulse to the kryptonite atoms in his blood, starting on nuclear fission. No, it's impossible. He'd explode to bits.
Everything he pointed his metal gloves at exploded except me. And he remained very much alive.
Impossible. Wait. Did you say he wore metal gloves?
Yes, they were meshed metal. Jagged green sparks poured out of the fingers like miniature lightning bolts.
Amazing. What was the metal, do you know?
I'm afraid I was too busy trying to stay alive to find out. It was gray-white, I can tell you that, with a sort of bluish cast.
Those gloves are the secret, and the converter, of course. I'd certainly like to see them.
After my next encounter with the Atom Man, if I'm still alive, I'll bring them to you, Doctor.
What makes you think you'll encounter him again?
I'm sure I will. He said he intended to destroy me first and then enslave the rest of the world. Well, he knows now that he didn't destroy me. Chances are he's looking for me right now.
How can he find you? Nobody knows where you go or even who you are.
Yes, that's my ace card, my only salvation. Well, I'll be going now, Doctor. I can't tell you how grateful I am.
Forget it. I did very little. I only wish I could do more.
You did a great deal. It may make all the difference. No, don't bother to show me to the door. I'll use your skylight again if you don't mind.
Of course not.
So long. And thanks again.
Goodbye. Best of luck.
Up, and away!
Leaping through the open skylight, Superman leaves Dr. Millicent's laboratory and streaks away. A short time later, once more in the guise and garb of Clark Kent, he enters the Daily Planet city room and approaches Jimmy Olsen's desk.
What? Mr. Kent, what? How?
So startled, Jim.
But you're in Florida. You were awful sick and are you all right now?
Fine, thanks.
Oh, gee, that's swell.
Well, Lois.
Well, she's out on a story. Where's Mr. White?
This is a silly conversation. He's in Florida. Oh, and that reminds me, I'll have to send him a wire. He won't know what happened to me.
Oh, well, I guess you're all right again. When you start getting mysterious, it means you're in the groove.
Let's hope I am. Jim, have there been any reports on our late friend and colleague, Henry Miller?
No, not a one. He just disappeared. Listen, Mr. Kent, Did you really mean it yesterday when you said he was the Atom Man?
Oh, did I say that?
Well, sure you did. Don't you remember? Oh, I guess you didn't know what you were saying, huh?
Well, one guess is as good as another. I got some things to attend to. I'll see you later, Jim.
Oh, now look, Mr. Kent, don't start clamming up on me again.
Why?
Well, you know something. I can tell by the way you act. Oh, here, I'll hang your overcoat up.
Thanks. And now, if you don't mind, I'd like a little privacy. I got a call or two to make. But we can have lunch together if you like.
Okay. Hey, where'd you get that snazzy new belt?
Oh, you like it?
Yeah, it's keen. One of those fancy plastic jobs, huh?
I guess you could say that. Jim, send Beanie in, will you? I want to send a wire to the chief right away. He'll be having fits.
Okay. Well, what time do you want to go to lunch?
Oh, 12:30, 1, whenever it suits you.
Well, the earlier the better. You know me.
I certainly do. 12:30 then.
Check.
Right. Let's see, a telegram. Sorry, had to rush away. Very urgent matter.
Hey, Mr. Kent.
Just a minute, Beanie. I'm finishing a telegram. I'd like you to send it out right away, please.
Okay, there's a fat geezer here wants to see you.
A what? Here you are.
A fat geezer.
Oh?
And very high claws. He's wearing yellow gloves and spats and carrying a cane.
Oh, what's his name?
Sydney.
Sydney what?
That's all he told me. He says he's got something very important to see you about.
All right, send him in. And make sure that telegram goes at once, Beanie.
Consider it done, Mr. Kent. Okay, Mr. Sydney, you can come in.
His mind preoccupied with thoughts of the Atom Man, Clark Kent looks up indifferently as the fat Sidney, his tiny babyish mouth smiling benevolently in his moonlight face, waddles into the office. Kent is about to receive the shock of his life, so stay tuned in for the startling climax of today's episode. Sidney, the shrewd master spy who now controls the Atom Man, has just entered Clark Kent's office at the Daily Planet. Placing his Homburg hat, yellow gloves, and cane on a corner of the desk, he wedges his fat body into a chair and leans forward confidentially.
I'm a retired businessman, Mr. Kent, and for several years I've devoted myself to a hobby. I think you'd be interested in it, and I need your cooperation.
On what?
Why, my hobby, which I have reason to believe is the same as yours.
I'm afraid I don't understand. What hobby?
Why, Superman, of course.
Superman?
Yes. Why you look so startled, Mr. Kent?
Startled? I'm not startled.
Oh, forgive me. I thought you were.
What makes you think Superman is my hobby?
Perhaps I used the wrong word. Perhaps I should say he is my hobby and your work.
My work? What do you mean by that?
Oh, perhaps nothing. Perhaps a great deal. But let me tell you the real purpose of my visit.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Yes, well, you see, I'm considering publishing a report of my studies on Superman, in which I would reveal to the world his true identity.
His true identity?
Of course, you know he has a double identity.
He has?
Come now, Mr. Kent, you know who he really is.
I do?
Certainly you do. That's why, before I publish my findings and expose his identity...
No, you can't do that. You can't.
Why not?
Because, well, you may be mistaken.
I'm quite sure I'm not mistaken.
Well, you may be. You must be. And if you published a false report, you'd cause a great deal of trouble.
Yes, I would, wouldn't I? I wouldn't want to do that. That's why I want your help.
My help? How can I help you?
As an expert on Superman, Mr. Kent, I'd like you to look over my documents and photographs and all the other material that I have on the subject.
I see. Well, this sounds very interesting, Mr. Sidney. I'd like to see your documents and other data.
Yes, I was sure you would. Shall we go now? I have a little place in the country. It's only about an hour's drive.
Oh, no, I'm afraid I can't leave just yet, but I have a car, and well, perhaps this evening.
Oh, whatever you say. My place is called Green Meadows. It's on a side road 3.5 miles west of Glenville on Highway 33. You'll see a rustic sign saying Green Meadows and a dirt road through the trees.
I'll find it, all right.
Good. I'll be expecting you then. Goodbye, Mr. Kent. Until tonight.
Yes, till tonight.
Deeply worried, Clark Kent stares at the door through which Sidney waddled from the office and mutters to himself,
Does he really know who I am? Or is he only bluffing? If he does know, what's his game? Is it blackmail? I've got to find out how much he knows and keep him from publishing it. If the Atom Man knew Superman was Clark Kent, well, that'd be the end. For me.
Yes, Clark. And unfortunately, the Atom Man does know you're Superman. And so does Sidney. Are you going to walk into their trap? Think fast and act fast. Faster than even you have ever thought before. Because once again, your life is at stake. Fellows and girls, don't miss tomorrow's thrilling episode, whatever you do. Tune in, same time, same station, for The Adventures of Superman.